This lucky man discovered stacks of cash inside his recently purchased car. In a stunning turn of events, the protagonist's search for an affordable car led him to purchase a Jeep at a police auction. However, his excitement quickly turned to frustration when he discovered a problem with the electric window. The story attracted attention and speculation, leaving everyone intrigued about the origin of the cash. As the media continues to dig deeper into the matter, the protagonist's life takes a suspenseful turn. This man, who is the protagonist of the story, decided that he wanted to buy a good quality car at a cheap price. He went to a second-hand car auction since he was on a tight budget. He had already set aside money for the car and preferred to think of his new car as an investment rather than an expense. Nonetheless, his mind was racing, wondering where he would get the car he required. This man will not accept any old recycled vehicle store. Instead, he had an idea of where he could acquire it. He thought the best to do was purchase the car at a police auction. He believed it was the safest spot to get a reputable vehicle at a low cost. In fact, because the police had already seized it from its owner, there was no chance of anyone claiming ownership of the vehicle. He looked up the dates of the police auction on the internet and discovered that they nicely fit his timetable. He was overjoyed and carefully awaited the big day. On the day of the police auction, he arrived on time and registered as a bidder. The auction started, and the host announced the first car up for auction. He had a feeling that he could find a great car for a small amount of money. Eventually, he successfully purchased a beautiful Jeep. The price was lower than he expected, and he considered it one of his smartest decisions. However, he soon discovered that the electric window of the Jeep wasn't working properly. Since he had already paid in cash and signed an agreement stating no returns or exchanges, he couldn't return the Jeep. This left him with limited options, and he had to try fixing the issue himself. Despite the no return, no exchange policy, he was determined to find a solution and make the most of his investment. To troubleshoot the problem, he began studying online forums, viewing DIY videos, and speaking with expert vehicle aficionados. He tackled the chore of repairing the electric window himself, armed with newfound knowledge and a set of tools. He knew a little bit about vehicle mechanics, so the task shouldn't be too difficult for him. Before heading to the garage, he prepared all of the tools he would need to unlock the vehicle's window. While studying the Jeep, the man noticed that something wasn't quite right. He instantly removed the window's interior board to inspect what was within. He spotted a curious thing when removing the window board. The frame seemed to have been opened and repaired prior to this. Initially hesitant, his curiosity prevailed, and he chose to investigate what concealed the window board. He found a dark sack wedged among the cables. Pausing momentarily, he grasped the sack and sensed it held a substantial amount of money. Suppressing his doubts, he stepped outside for fresh air, then returned to the garage, retrieved the small dark pack, and headed to his room. In his room, he placed the package on the table and examined it for a few more minutes. Eventually, he decided to open it, convinced it was permissible since he now owned the recycled Jeep. He was astonished by what he discovered after unclamping the dark pocket. There were 7 heaps of things with letters and numbers on it. He was so impressed that he opened the rest. Following the $10 bills were some packets of $20. This was followed by $50 and $100 bills. He publicly shared photos of the pack and the piles of cash within it to the internet after taking them. The implication was that he was bragging about how much money he had discovered. He had published the images without considering that his life could be jeopardized if everything turned out to be true. No one knows what the answer was to this question. However, a few people proposed suggestions as to how the money got inside the vehicle's electronic window board. Others believe the photographs were staged, and some believe it was all a ruse to mislead and gain people's attention. Some people discovered large sums of money hidden within their previously acquired used autos. The media keeps bringing up this old story, aiming to probe deeper into the circumstances around the massive amount of cash discovered. A man who bought a used car and discovered a fortune inside one of its window boards. The majority of those who heard the incident urged that the vehicle seller always inspect and evaluate the various parts of these cars in order to avoid this type of event. Before putting the vehicle on the market, the sales representative should properly inspect it.